am the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr, and you're watching thevog.net. I'm here at Volusia Motorsports in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and here with me, well, you know him by his screen name of MJW930. Can I call you Mark?
Absolutely, no problem.
Well, Mark lives in this area. In fact, what part of Central Florida are you from?
I live in Ormond Beach, which is about 12 miles, 15 miles north of here.
Okay, and this is your 2010 cross country. How long have you had the bike for?
Actually, about 1 week more than a year. I picked it up December 3rd of last year.
I can see in the year that you've owned her, you've done quite a bit to this bike.
I've added a few touches here and there.
I think that's an understatement. Okay, why don't we start from the rear and work our way forward. The first thing that jumps out, and I realize we can't get to every detail, is the seat. What have you done here?
That's a Sargent seat. It's on the basic stock platform, but I had Sargent seats up in Jacksonville, recontour it and recover it, mostly because the factory seat was a good seat, one of the best seats I've had from the factory, but you can always tweak it a little bit better. And this has the memory foam, a little bit deeper dish, more like a Vision seat than the original seat. And then they add a little bit of the piping just to give it a little bit of a look.
Now, how is it on long rides?
It's very good. I'm one of those that rides for maybe an hour or two and then just kind of gets off in general. I don't get off the bike anymore because of the seat.
Now, the seat, either the seat looks lower or the back part is higher. What did you do any differences to the stock seat?
The angle on this seat is a little more upright, so this is back a little bit deeper and it's a little bit wider, so it looks different, but it's exactly the same height as factory.
As we move forward, there's been a lot of talk about this bike. Let's just go in and address it. Some buffeting on the stock models. It looks like you have done just about everything possible to eliminate it. What have you done, and how has it solved that issue?
Well, what I've done primarily is add some lower wind management, and then the windshield you see here, just to get the air pocket a little bit broader, but not to make it like you're riding in a car. That's not what I was going for. It's colder now, by Florida standards. So you'll see the soft lowers are installed. And actually, the amazing thing is with the soft lowers installed and these wings right there, those are the cool metal wings, the air pocket is perfect. I mean, it literally is like riding on a Vision at this point.
And then you have your highway pegs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct. Originally I had them mounted reverse, so they mount lower because I'm a little bit height challenged. And yeah, but with the covers you have to flip them back to their standard height. So, but they're great. They just give you another place to put your foot. I mean, it's a huge floorboard, so you don't have to get that cramped feeling when you're moving. You can move your feet around a lot, but being able to lean up against that or just put your foot up there is really great.
Okay, now you were talking about the buffeting, that you get none. Do you think that the majority of that was coming from the lowers, and now that you've covered and deflected, that's where the dirty air was coming in from?
Yeah, I think the majority of the dirty air is coming in from underneath. I mean, it's evidenced by the fact that you put those lowers on and 80 to 90% of it goes away. You still have to manage the height of the windshield. That's where the Vision has it over this because it's adjustable.
Now, which windshield did you go with here?
This is a Gustafson shield. It's their +4 with the flip. It's at a height where I can look over it most of the time, which was great today because I don't know if you probably may not be able to see it, but there's still dew from the fog. But I was looking over it, so I didn't have any problem seeing. But with the flip and the height, the air pocket is high enough that it gets over my head, and I don't get the buffeting on the top of my head that was giving me a headache after long rides.
Now, I haven't seen these mirrors on a cross country. Where'd you get these?
These are Curry-Aiken. You can get them pretty much anywhere. I got them at JMP because they're right up the road here. These are I think they're called Scythe or Scythe. I'm not sure of the exact pronunciation.
And you have dual ram ball mounts.
Yeah, when I originally bought the bike, I knew I wanted to have that ram mount over there for the GPS. And I figured this ram mount is here for the cup holder. I have since put a different cup holder that's a little more stealthy. You don't really see it that much if there's not a cup in it. And so I just left this on because it is a factory lower mount. It fits the bike, so who knows what I might want to hook up there at one point. So.
Now, I know this is not your first bike with an audio system. You had a Gull Wing in past years. What is your thought about the Victory audio system on this bike?
So far, I'm very happy with it. Some people have done some speaker upgrades, and actually I'll probably do that as well because it's not that big an expense, just to extend the range of the low end. But I imagine that if you add the top case, which I'm sure at some point I will, and get the 2 extra speakers in the back, it rounds it out, and you get the sound like you're getting from the Harleys and the wings. So I'm very happy with it. It's fairly easy to manage. 1 or 2 buttons. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. So.
One question I enjoy asking people who've had their bikes for a while, that if the factory is watching and you could communicate directly to them, what would you have them do different on this bike as it rolls off the line in its stock configuration?
In its stock configuration, I would love an adjustable windshield. That is the single biggest thing I think they could do that would increase the acceptance of the bike and get rid of all the discussion of the buffeting. The second thing I wish they would do is wish they would release the hard lowers that they have in some preliminary documentation that was floating around the net, similar to what is on the Harley, where it can block the wind, but there's venting, so I can leave it on year-round, open up the vents in the summer, but block the air so that it's a more comfortable ride. Those 2 things, and the only other thing that might possibly be an advantage would be to offer a factory bar that comes back a few inches. This is right on the edge for me. I think I might be a little more comfortable if it were a little bit closer to me, like the Vision.
Yeah, I'm shorter than you are, as you can tell, and yeah, I do understand what you're saying about that.
Other than that, that's just minor things. The bike hasn't really none of the things that I've done to it I would have considered a requirement, aside from, say, the windshield. And I have a windshield graveyard at home, so I do that on every bike I've ever owned that had a windshield. And actually, I didn't start riding a motorcycle with a windshield until about 3 years ago. So,
how many miles do you have on this bike?
Only 5,500.
Okay, now, you just changed your tires.
Yeah.
Did you do that out of necessity, or you just wanted to try something new?
A little bit of both. I certainly had plenty of tread left on the factory tires, but they were not flat spotted, but they were flat in the middle from all the highway miles. And I figured, well, let's give it a shot and try a new tire, something that's a little grippier, maybe a little better handling. So I made a decision about 2-3 weeks ago to get them changed out.
What did you go with?
I went with the Avon Cobras. I'd run Avon Venoms on some other bikes and been very happy with them. Read a lot of stuff on the net about the grippiness and the sport nature of the Avon, so that's what I decided to put on.
I'm understanding it didn't go as planned. Is that a fair way to say it?
That would be a fair way of saying it, yeah. I noticed when I was riding home from the dealership, the bike, when you'd come to a come up to a stoplight, almost the closest thing to approximate it to is like the bike had knobby tires. So you'd get a bit of a vibration like this as you'd come to a stop. I attributed that to just needing a few heat cycles, maybe knocking down some high spots in the tire, and I really wasn't that concerned. Put a couple 100 miles on it the following day. The problem didn't get any better. So that prompted me to put the bike up on the lift and see what problem might be. And that's when I discovered that the rear tire is not round, both laterally and radially. It's not round. The front tires has a flat spot, but it's a little bit rounder than the rear. So I wasn't looking for a problem until actually I felt something on the bike, because it wasn't like, well, it looks like it's out of round, but when you ride it, you don't feel it. No, you feel it. And to add insult to injury, when the roads are wet, like they are and damp today, the wobbling that's induced at slow speeds actually has almost caused me to drop the bike twice.
Now, you're swapping those tires out for obvious reasons.
Yes, I'm going to swap those out. They're defective. I don't think the design is necessarily defective, but these particular set are. So.
There are bad runs, so you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. What do you put? Are you going back to the Dunlops, or what are you going to do?
Actually, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm going with the Metzler ME880s. That was my favorite tire on my V-Rods, I should say. So I think that I'll be happy with those. If there's a problem, the Dunlops, the E3s that come on the bike are good tires. They're just not great. So I'm looking for that little bit of extra edge, a little more ride comfort, a little bit better traction.
Well, Mark, I got to tell you, your bike looks great. I'm going to take this moment to thank you for your ongoing participation in the VOG. As you know, you've been a site moderator in the past. It's not as easy as it looks like.
It's a thankless job, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I get a lot of pleasure out of it, and I get a lot of thank yous. But I want to thank you for your participation, bringing a lot of expertise to the site. For the VOG.net, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and I'll see you on the road and online.